Welcome back to another episode of Global Card Collectors. I'm here with the organizer of the Auckland Card Show, which I went to a couple of weeks ago. So this is Steve.
Hey.
Steve, hi. I just want you to maybe just introduce yourself and tell us. I think the big question that I have was why did you decide to have a card show in Auckland? I guess because after you told me that you just arrived in New Zealand barely a year ago. So what made you create a card show in Auckland? And man, you did a really great job getting that card show, going almost immediately. It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So, it was an amazing event, right? Like we've had so much positive feedback since show one, and even the small negatives that we've had about the show haven't even been that bad. Like they're all stuff that we can build upon for the next one. But what an incredible first show. Like you said, I've only been in New Zealand now for a year. For the day that we did the first Auckland Card Show, was actually exactly 1 year from when I'd landed in New Zealand. So so it's been an incredible 12 months of discovering this new country and then organizing this incredible show. To answer your question about why did we do this show? So coming from the UK, I'm originally from Cardiff in Wales. We have so many card shows in the UK now, which have been heavily influenced from the US. But there's no show quite like a London card show. So if anyone's watching this and you're ever in the UK, just check and see, because they do 4 events per year. They do 4 weekends throughout the year, and London Card Show is incredible. We'd been to London Card Show several times. Each time just like blown away with the vendors, the events that they do. And I had no intention coming into New Zealand that I wanted to launch my own card show. It's only when I got here, actually. So when I got here, I'd launched my own YouTube channel, and I was making content for the channel. I started promoting it in some of the local groups here, and I saw just how strong the community was as I was trying to build my own YouTube channel. And then I discovered that there was no big card show here in New Zealand. And I was like, the more I got myself into the community, and I was meeting new collectors, and not just in cards, but in comics as well. And the more I got into things, I was like, wait, there's no big card show here. Like, why is someone not doing that? And then that's when I thought, well, hey, if no one's doing it, let's do it ourselves. Let's launch the Auckland Card Show. And so I'm based in Auckland, hence why it's an Auckland Card Show. But also, being one of the biggest cities here in New Zealand, it felt right that it be here in Auckland rather than anywhere else. And logistically for myself, obviously living here, it makes it so much easier to try and do it here than down in Wellington or somewhere else. So, but yeah, I got to the end of 2023. I'd been here about 6 months at that point, and I thought, you know what, we can do a card show. And I'd never done anything quite like this previously, but both myself and my wife have a strong background in hospitality. So we've done major events of all kinds before. I'm more back of house. I used to be a chef for a very long time, but I'm very organized and knowledgeable about how events work from one side of things. So yeah, I thought I was quite confident we could pull off our own card show. And then that's when I started going down the path, and we went into 2024. And I think it's only as late as February that I actually announced that we were going to put this show on in July. And then tickets went on sale in March, and things kind of escalated from there.
I think I was probably one of the first people to buy tickets, to be honest.
Really?
I snapped up I'm pretty sure. I snapped up a VIP ticket pretty quickly. I was like, "Oh, this looks good." And in my head, I was thinking, this will just be for TCGs. But I was so curious because I went to the card show down in Wellington, which is probably the other big event. But I
Yeah,
think obviously
absolutely.
with New Zealand collectors, there's definitely enough room for more than one big show. And the two
Absolutely.
different cities, it really works too, because there are a lot of collectors down Wellington way.
Yeah,
But I think sometimes with Auckland, there is a big TCG community. So it made sense that there were a lot of TCG styles. But at the same time, as you saw from my video after the show, there was more than enough sports to go around as well. And I'm sure that next year's iteration of the show is only going to get bigger, and there's only going to
absolutely.
be more sports cards sellers who want to join the show, and hopefully just a more diverse range. Because I think probably for the first show, a lot of these sellers were just a little bit unsure on whether or not it was going to work. And I think now that they can see it, I
Absolutely.
think that you're gonna get a lot more people coming along.
It was a huge challenge, right? So being new to the community and then announcing you're going to do this card show, people are hesitant, right? Like, and I can
Yeah.
listen, I completely get it, especially after, earlier this year we watched the Willy Wonka experience go viral. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The Willy Wonka experience, amazing.
So some guy comes along and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to do a card show in Auckland. Why would you trust me? Why would you trust that this is going to be a real event, right?" I completely
That's
get
great.
it. And yeah, we actually had one guy comment on one of our ads that we did on Facebook when we first started launching ads, and he commented and said, "This is giving me Willy Wonka vibes." Right?
Cool.
It was great, like because that was my nightmare. Was like, hey, what if we put on this show and it is the next Willy Wonka? Right? Nobody wants to be that guy.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so but it was great because we had a bit of banter with it. I remember commenting back to him on Facebook and through Auckland Culture and saying, "Hey, I promise there's 100% no AI, and I promise there's we don't promise a chocolate river." So yeah, is but I get it. Like it's really difficult to put your trust into something like this when it's never been done before. So when the first
Mhm.
show comes along and we're promising what we promised, yeah, it's hard for people to get behind it. And we're really grateful for the people that did get behind it, both our vendors, our attendees, our sponsors. We had like the most incredible range of sponsors for a first time show. And we couldn't have put on the show that we did without everyone kind of getting involved in it and buying tickets and getting tables to be there as vendors. And just yeah, like since we've done this show now, we've had so many more people reach out to us to say they will be at show two. So hopefully,
Awesome.
yeah, hopefully for show two we have a much wider range of sports card vendors,
Hmm.
and then even more TCGs as well. Like we'll have even more TCG offerings for show two.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really well run, and I was telling you a little bit of that off air as well. But I just thought it was very professional. I really liked the attention to certain details, like the Auckland Card Show outfit that you're wearing right now. Like so many people who were working at the show, you knew who they were because they're all wearing the same
Yeah,
outfits. Just small details like that make a difference, you know. Coming in as a VIP guest and getting the little goodie bag, and I kind of waited till after the show. I'm like, I'm going to open this one later. This is my treat for later on, and it was great. I mean, I've basically gifted most of them to my daughter because she's so into it now, and the sleeves are perfect for Pokemon cards. So it's just
yeah,
ideal in that
the
sense. So
sleeves are really good.
lots of yeah, very good. And there were even like cases for PSA graded cards and all sorts of things. So just
Yeah,
I think the devil was in the details, and even inside those goodie bags, you had the contact details of all of the vendors who had sponsored, so you could see, where do I go for Pokemon? Where do I go for these, the penny sleeves or that kind of thing? And it was all there. So I really liked it. I thought the details of the show are really clear. Even for example, I really liked the main stage and how you had this giant TV screen up near the main stage, so you could see what people were doing, and the cameras were there, and it was just great to be part of that experience. I think the Wellington show has a lot of heart, and there's a lot of good stuff about this,
yeah.
but it was good to just see a different vibe as well, because I think different shows suit different people, and obviously both shows can definitely coexist. and I'm
Absolutely.
really excited for what both shows can do next year.
Yeah, so I was actually at that show back in May as well. It's a fantastic
Hmm.
show down there in Upper Hutt, and they've just released now that they're doing 2025. I think in April, and so yeah,
Yeah,
we'll definitely be traveling down for that for the weekend and
awesome.
visiting the show. Is a fantastic show.
Yeah, I agree. What I liked about this show, especially as a dad of a now Pokemon card collector, was we were complete newbies, and so she and I had taken a little advice from certain people, and we kind of knew what we wanted when we went into the show. And she knows a lot more than I do. But what one of my absolute favorite things was at the show there were some tables there, and they would learn how to play tables. But you don't just sit there and kind of read instructions, which there were. There were people who were basically assigned to teach you how to play the game. They're like, "Do you guys want to learn how to play from us?" Like, absolutely, sure. And so you have these experienced Pokemon collectors who are wonderful with my daughter, who taught us how to play the game together. And we had a great time. It was amazing. That
Yeah,
was one of my favorite moments. I've got more. Obviously, we'll talk
yeah.
about those, but I thought that little extra touch was a really great idea.
Yeah, so Card Merchant did a really good job of that, like taking the time to
Agreed.
teach people how to play numerous TCGs at the event, and like we've already touched base with them about how we can do that even better for next year.
Hmm.
Because we had so much positive feedback, like you're saying now, with people brought their kids along and they got to learn all different kinds of TCGs for this at this show.
Hmm.
So yeah, we will definitely be following up next year and doing more of that. Um, yeah, those guys at Card Merchant were fantastic with that.
I also thought that you got a lot of, like you were talking about sponsors before, but there were a lot of I guess companies that we'd never seen in New Zealand before that were able to attend the show. Obviously, we have PCG, who's from New Zealand, who's an awesome card grading group too. But also you got CGC as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so CGC, so we reached out to so many companies worldwide
Hmm.
to come to our show here in New Zealand, and we're quite pleased to say that there are so many companies that want to be involved with us. So whether they were
Hmm.
at this one now or they're planning on coming to the next one or the show after, but they are interested in being at our show. So we are exploring ways in which we can bring people from all around the world to us here in Auckland. But CGC actually reached out to us quite not quite early on, about halfway through the process of like ticket sales. They reached out to us to say, hey, love what you're doing down there in Auckland. We'd love to be at the show. Um, but they couldn't be here for the first show. So they then said, hey, we can make you an authorized dealer and you can take submissions on behalf of us. Which at first I was like, hey, like let's get you guys down here. Like I want you guys at the show.
Hmm.
You know, I don't want to be uh doing submissions for you. I want you guys here so that the crowds can meet CGC themselves. But they couldn't be here for the first one, so we took submissions on their behalf so that we could still have that offering for the New Zealand community. I'm pleased to announce that we've spoken to CGC since, and they will be sending someone from their Hong Kong office for show two, which is incredible. So at show two, you will be able to meet the people from CGC.
Cool,
And I,
cool. And I think you even had you were telling me earlier that you even got sponsorship from Leaf as well.
well, so yeah, sponsorship in the sense that they sent us product. So Leaf also wanted to attend the event in some capacity, but I guess we kind of shot ourselves in the foot this year, right? So I was so keen to get a show out in 2024, and
Hmm.
there's limited availability between other shows that go on in New Zealand. So I had to pick a date,
Yeah,
and I picked the date that just so happened to be the same time that the national convention in America was happening.
yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, like it didn't hinder us too much, but in terms of Leaf wanted to be at the show, but they're like, hey, like all of these big companies are going to the national in America. It's where the
Hmm.
big business is at. So they weren't able to attend this time around, and they were like, hey, if you can get someone to break stuff on stage, we'll send you some product. So Yeah, we got in touch with their marketing team, and that was their response back. Was like, hey, we can give you some product to open on stage. To which I thought those guys were sending us some sports cards, right? I thought we are going to be opening sports cards on stage. So I reached out to Blunt, who were a sponsor, local sponsor here in New Zealand, and I said, hey guys, I can give you some product. Do you want to open it up in the afternoon? And they, yeah, sure, of course, let's do it. Like, and then the product arrived. The product arrived with me. I didn't even look at it. It was sealed up. It would, in a case. It had leaf tape all over it, and I was like, hey, well, I don't need to open this, So we get to the show, we open it at the show and take the 2 cases out, and then we discover that it actually was the Pop Century stuff. So, and then wow,
I mean, and leaf products in general are awesome, but man, those Pop Century ones are great. Those
Pop Century went like. I, as the event organizer, and I'm telling everyone this now, that was my favorite part of the day. So I was just off stage watching it unfold. It was great. The guys from Blunt got up there, and that was the most, like, for me, was the most electric part of the day. The grown-ups, we've done so many, like, I don't know, we've done like thousands of dollars worth of Pokemon giveaways at that point, but this was for the grown-ups in the crowd. Like, the grown-ups went crazy for this. We were like, those guys from Blunt.
I did. I was watching.
Well, you did amazing from it. You got one of the giveaways. The guys from Blunt passed out into the crowd. They passed you a 1-of-1, and probably the best 1-of-1 was in the box, right?
I think that was the best hit of the whole case. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, that one is a monster. Like, having 6 Marvel actors, like, and they're lead actors, all of them.
Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Chris Pratt, like, like, wow, what a card! Like,
yeah, it's amazing. So I just remember being in there, and what ended up happening was it was a little bit much. I was like, wow, these people are getting pretty animated about the cards. Their hands going everywhere. And I felt really sorry for the lady who was handing out the cards, because it was almost like, oh man, don't maul her. Oh no, what's going to happen to her?
So she was great. She came to help out on the day. She has no idea about the card world at all.
Yeah.
So she turned up on the day, and I was like, look, you're going to be giving out, as we open things, you're going to give them out to the crowd. She was not prepared for any of this, but yeah, wow, like the crowd went crazy for those cards, and quite right too, right? We had a 1-of-1 Al Pacino, a 1-of-1 Charlie Sheen, like
a 1-of-1 Clint Eastwood as well.
Oh yeah, the first one that came out was the
very first card, and the first pack was a 1-of-1 Clint Eastwood, and it's him and his I think it was the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly hat. I was like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, so there were some big cards there in that like 20 minutes on stage, which was was, like I said, for me as the event organizer, that was just like, that was the best part of the day. Like, I
agree. That was a massive high, and I just remember afterwards I was buzzing because there was this crowd there, and I'm just standing at the back, just going, man, it'd be kind of cool to get a card. And then when that monster came, and then I think one of you guys said, you guys got to choose a person, because it was too much. Too many people wanted the card.
Yeah.
And so they just looked out in the audience and they went, well, Big Bill's going to get it. I was like,
yeah. And with the Al Pacino one, the Matt from Blunt was like, I can't choose. Like, so he was like, Steve, go. And I ran around the back to try and give the crowd at the back a chance of getting some good stuff. And
awesome.
But yeah, people were going crazy for those cards, and I hope that we can replicate that kind of energy again at show 2, because that would be incredible.
Yeah, well, it also shows how great Leaf is, like, to gift you guys a whole case of the stuff.
Well, they gave us 2 cases to open there. That was 2,
wow, 2 cases.
2 cases.
Wow.
Yeah, so like 20 boxes to open. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, there were so many great moments like that one. I think my earlier video shows, I felt like I was the luckiest guy around that day, because I end up winning that card from the boys, and then I go up to show them, and I'm talking to Nijesh, the guy from Blunt, and I'm just like, check this out, mate. And then while he was doing that, you were talking to him, and you're like, has the guy who won the $250 prize kind of come out to claim it? And you're like, no, he hasn't come through yet. and you said, well, he looks pretty legitimate. Like his Facebook page is normal, and his name is Will Woods. And I'm standing there going, that's me. I totally forgot.
So like
So
I
I didn't even check. My personal one is different. Like my personal Facebook page is different to the Facebook page that I use for the Global Card Collectors channel. And so I didn't even notice. And I was at a wedding the day before, so I wasn't able to even see the draw. So I turned up first thing in the morning after the wedding. Just go through it then, cousin. I just totally forgot about the giveaway.
I really regret that someone didn't film that moment. Like I wish
Yeah,
someone had always been just filming around the stage to have captured that moment. So
yeah.
we're just off the side of the stage when I'm Will Woods. I'm Will Woods, and mine and Najes's face. We must have both just been like, and we couldn't believe because I think one of us was holding the one of one six signatured Marvel
Yeah.
card, and you're telling us you've won another $250. We were like, is this happening? And it was happening. Yeah, I'd drawn your name on the random wheel
On the
selector
wheel, yeah.
at like 11. I think at 1 minute past 11 the night before. We just finished up for the night packing in. I was hoping to have done the draw earlier in the night, but we were so busy packing in and getting things organized for the event day that just as they were about to kick us out of the building for the night, I was like, oh, I need to do this giveaway. I'd said I'm going to do the giveaway on the Friday night, and I was like, I want to do it here at the show. So I quickly set it up in the foyer, and I was like, right, we're going to do this now. And yeah, and you won $250 and didn't even know about it until you were at
And I
the
wouldn't have,
show.
and I wouldn't have been able to claim it until like way later. And it wasn't until you guys were speaking. I was like, "That's me."
So wait, what did you get from? So the whole competition was
I,
the
I,
you could spend $250 at Blunt
that's
Collections
right.
tables, and what did you get?
So I ended up buying a box of Revolution. So I
Okay,
bought a box of it was I think it was 2021 22 Revolution. I got some okay cards, but nothing major. I think my luck had run out in a 24-hour window. So they were okay cards the next day. I should have opened them on the spot. I would have gotten amazing ones, I'm sure.
wow, yeah, what an incredible day! You did really
Yeah.
really well.
Yes, so I think just overall, what I was really impressed with when you told me your story and you just said, yeah, I came to New Zealand and I just noticed that they didn't have a card show. And the first thing that came into my mind was like, how long had you been preparing this for? But you did really well. Like, as you said, you and your partner have background in hospitality, but you could tell that you really paid attention to detail. And I think that it made the experience for collectors. I think everybody got something out of it that they would have been happy with, and it just felt really well organized, very clear. You knew where to go. There were even tournaments running for Pokemon.
Yeah.
You had so much happening during the day, and even just having an outline of like all of the key events that were going to happen in the day was really smart too. So I knew that first thing in the morning, Blunt Breaks were going to open up some sports products. So I was really keen for that. I did not know that there was going to be a leaf break until someone told me, like, "Oh, look, you got to stay for the leaf break. Let's see how it goes." Because I would have probably left before then.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people did like things started going quiet just before we did the leaf break at 4 p.m. Um, but yeah, I'm glad because I put it on there. The Blunt Collections were going to be opening and stuff at 4 p.m. and I'm glad I did because I was meant to advertise as they were doing sports cards and things, but actually it wasn't sports cards. I assumed that Leaf was sending us sports cards and it wasn't, but yeah, but thank you for like your kind words of it. That it was a well organized event. We did put a lot of hard work into organizing this,
Yeah.
and a lot of thought did go into like the finer details of things. Of like you really have to think about like how every little detail is going to look, and you got to imagine how it's going to look, and etc. Even down to like things like like we covered the cost, and part of our like vendors coming there and hiring tables, it wasn't just that they get the tables, but it was also the tablecloth. So we were like adamant from the start, like we wanted all black tablecloths across the place. We wanted to be on
Hmm.
brand from the start. um so I don't know if you noticed, but everything was in black.
Yes.
And it just added to that like feel, like it just made things feel so much.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
that was, those tablecloths cost a lot of money. Like until I
Mhm.
started doing this event, I never realized how much it cost to hire some tablecloths. But I'll tell you now, they're
Wow.
not cheap. but
Wow.
but
Wow.
at any point we could have said, you know what, we can scale back and not do the tablecloths. But there was just certain things where it was like, no, to make this show really stand out and to show people like this is
Mhm.
what we're building. This is show one, and we're going to set the bar. Like this is how we do things. Yeah, we just you have to take the hit on things like the really expensive tablecloths.
Cool.
Um,
Cool. No, it made a difference for sure. Like, I just remember even going in, and I think I even had my camera on and I was recording. And there's just a bit of a wow factor when you walk into a card show that you know is going to be good. And you can go to the small ones and they have maybe two or three vendors, and it's cool and it's nice and there's a little charm about that. But when you walk into a big show and you've got vendors everywhere and you can see their signs,
yeah,
but like you said, those details of the tables where they're all uniform,
yeah.
small things like that do make a difference. And for someone like me who walks in, you're like, whoa, this is good. This is going to be a good day. As a card collector who loves collecting them, that's what you want to see, you know?
Yeah, so like I said, we really thought through like all of the finer details. So there were some small details like having all black tablecloths, but then there were bigger details like you saw the signage that we had with the backdrop for our
Yes.
stage. I mean, that's a 6 meter signage there.
That was
And
massive. It looked cool.
when
Yeah.
everyone was when it turned up and when it arrived, we started setting this thing up and everyone's saying to me, is this even going to fit on the stage? But yeah, we thought all these things through. We'd measured it right down to the T, like how it's all going to work on stage, etc. Yeah, and it's just months and months of planning and hard work, but it paid off. Like it was such a, like, even from my perspective, like we were so happy with how the day turned out. um and like I said, we've just kind of
But I think even
sorry, go on.
Sorry, I feel like even details that most people probably wouldn't see. And it was just by chance that I noticed it. But next to the main stage, there was a guy who was in charge of all the cameras. So he was, I guess, doing it for the YouTube channel. Plus,
Yeah,
it looked like he was doing the security as well, which is really cool. Because I
so
think you need that as well. Like you
the,
had cameras in the building looking at collectors, and you're like, you know what, we don't want any five-finger discounts happening here. And so having a security like that's a really smart move too.
Yeah, and the guys from VidCon there did such a good job at with our camera work. Like we had a couple of hiccups at the beginning, with getting the sound right and stuff. I think at the first few minutes
Mhm.
of the stream were a bit dodgy with the sound, but like throughout the day, you cannot fault like the quality in what they put out there. And then
Yeah.
and like you said, if you're at the event itself, so we had a big screen on the stage there. If you were up close to the stage, you could see exactly what we were pulling as we were doing it, because obviously we're raised
That's what made it
quite high
fun
up. And
because everybody's watching that screen. Everyone is standing in front of the
yeah,
screen, just looking, going, "What's coming out next?" And you can literally just see the breaker's hands in front of the camera, just showing you what cards are coming out. And when they start popping, people are whoa!
yeah,
So I think those reactions are amazing. Yeah,
it was great. Like yeah, we pulled some big cards on the stage that day. Like
big
um
time. Yeah.
I don't know if you were there right at the beginning, but the first box that we opened was a box of Fusion Strike from Pokemon. So one of my favorite sets from Pokemon, and I never pull anything good from this set. So I knew that, like, now that I'm on stage and we're giving away everything, I'm gonna pull something good from this box. We were
Not for me, for someone
two
else. Yeah.
packs in, and we pulled like one of the biggest cards in the set. It was like,
Wow.
and I went to so what were we, like 10 minutes into the show, and we gave away like one of the biggest cards in that set to a child in the audience. So it was incredible. It was
Awesome.
incredible to be able to open as much product as we did on stage and give it away to the guys in the crowd. And then yeah, see some of the awesome cards that we pulled that day.
Yeah, great, and it kind of, I guess it justifies people paying the $25 entry fee. I think it was.
So
Like you're gonna get free stuff when you get in. You know what I mean?
yeah, so we did have an entry fee on this. It was $20 a ticket. By the time you go through Eventbrite and stuff, I think it was up to about $23 with their fees on top.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
just on the fees, we are bringing that down for show two. So show two, for anyone that's listening, show 2 is happening in early 2025. We're already in like full on preparations for show 2. Which, yeah, we'll be announcing details on that in probably early September. But in terms of show 2, we will be reducing the price of the tickets, and we will also be doing free entry for children. So by
Cool.
pulling off this first event and getting to where we are now, it means that we can just raise that bar a little bit more now, and we can bring down our costs for our attendees, and then we can go on to do more cool stuff. So
Yeah, cool.
I'm really excited to get that out there and
Which
tell
is
everyone that
great.
we're bringing down the prices.
That's really great when you think about because it is looking out for the collectors first, because
Yeah.
People might be a little bit worried about the price in some cases. It's just like we just want to go out for a day for the card. So if the prices come down and kids are free, there's gonna be a lot of kids there, which is awesome, because there's nothing like the excitement of kids when it comes to cards. So I actually told my students from my class. So I'm a high school teacher, and I teach a couple of middle school classes as well. So I told them that I was going to the show, and so they ended up turning up as well. So I saw my students in there, and they had a great day. They were like, "Well, sir, look what I've got here!" And he went to a vendor and bought like an autograph card for $5, and it's like, kids don't really get those kinds of deals, and if they just keep ripping wax by themselves, there's no chance for them to kind of build community and that sort of thing. So I think that was something that I felt pretty happy about, because after my student came and talked to me, then the next thing you know, his mum's coming over to me saying, "Oh, thanks for telling us about the show." I'm like, I'm a pretty good teacher, right? In the meantime, I'm looking through my own card collection going,
that's so good.
It was great.
That's so good. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible vibe at the show. Like, even for myself, so I live on Waiheke Island here in Auckland, and the amount of people I met at the show that are from the island that I've never met before. Wow. So we have a population. I think it's like 9,000 to 10,000 people. Like out of season. In season, it goes up to about 45,000 when things go crazy. But right now, there's about like 9,000 to 10,000 people on the island. And so you get to know who's on the island, and you see people all the time. But at the show, I met so many people who are from this island, living here right now, who are all card collectors. So yeah, it was incredible.
What I liked about, for example, a group like Blunt coming along and joining the show is that you see them online. So I've bought into a few breaks of theirs, which is why they know me. But I had to introduce myself to them in person. But you get to see them in person, because you see them online like we're talking about now. But to have them there in the flesh, going, "Hey, you're Nijesh. I love your card collection, and man, it's so much fun. It's so nice to meet you." And they know exactly who you are, because if you join multiple breaks, and they're going to get to know your name pretty quickly.
Yeah, so I had the same. So I do some box breaks on YouTube as well, and so you get the regular people who come into your live streams, and they're saying hello, and they're commenting on your social posts and stuff. And even when they've got a in real life picture rather than like an illustration or an emoji or something there, but when you can see their face, it still takes you off guard. Like at the show, so many people came up to me and be like, "Hey, I'm so and so. I watch your live streams," and I'm like, "Oh my, like, yeah, it's you." Like I now I know who you are. I know you've introduced yourself, but like, yeah, you just would never recognize them until they stop you and say, "Hey, it's me," and you're like, "Oh wow, yeah," like, and so yeah, it was incredible to meet so many people at the show like that.
And I think that's one of the things I really do like about card shows. It's opportunities to build community. So I really started building community down at the New Zealand Card Show down in Wellington first.
Yeah.
And so I know quite a few people from down there, and they're just a great set of people. They're so nice. Such a great group. And then over here it's the same thing. I feel like I've lucked out, because some people talk about the negative voices in the card hobby, but I think there's something to be said about face-to-face interactions. When you meet a person in person, and you can get a good feel from them, and then the next thing you know, you're talking about cards with them. And for example, I met a guy who went down to the Wellington Card Show, and he came to the Auckland Card Show too. His name is Tony, and so we're talking cards like half the afternoon. I felt sorry for my daughter; she just trotting along with us, but she was very happy. She was fine. Give her $5, and she was off buying a couple of base, Pokemon cards that she wanted. So it was awesome. So it was just really cool to to have those moments to talk to people in the card community, to meet them face to face for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had people from all over New Zealand travel up for this. So did he come up from down south or?
No, no. He went down to the Wellington card
Okay.
show, but he's based here in Auckland. So I'm going to catch up with him soon because he's got some really cool cards that I'd like to just to get him to talk to chat about and that kind of thing. And speaking of that, do you what kind of cards do you collect at the moment? And do you have any like cards that you want to talk about and that sort of thing? What's your collection story? I guess.
So I collect Pokemon cards. Pokemon cards my thing, right?
Cool.
Although in preparation for this show, I met someone here on the island who also is a collector. He's a comic book collector, actually, but has some cards. He kind of collects a little bit of everything on the side, and so we met up, and he actually helped with taking submissions on the CGC tables. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so I've only met him during the process of organizing this show, but he kind of just gifted me in the process of this a 1 of 1 Marvel card. So it's a pretty cool card. It's by I don't have it here because I'm currently moving house at the moment. So
Just moving,
but
yeah.
but it's packed up and it's not available. But yeah, I'll have to send you a picture of it. So it's a really cool card. It's the character Gwenum, so Spider Gwen but venomized, and it's a 1 of 1 sketch card by a Eugene Commodore who has drawn this for Upper Deck. I think it's dated 2018. So yeah, it's a 1 of 1 card, and I will get this card graded, just sheerly not for value reasons, but to just keep it protected.
I agree.
But he definitely sparked something there in me that, like, because I was trying to stay away from Marvel cards. I'm a huge Marvel fan, and I don't need to get into more cards.
Well, I've got a Marvel card that you might be interested in, sir.
Send me a picture. But my wife is going to hate this now because I keep looking at all the Marvel cards now. So that's definitely somewhere I'm going next. And I'd already started to collect One Piece cards as well, because I'm also a huge anime fan. So and I'm a huge One Piece fan. And I again, for a long time, I was trying to stay away from going into One Piece cards for this reason. It just gets so expensive when you're trying to collect Pokemon, One Piece, and Marvel. But yeah,
I'm not exactly the cheapest TCGs, right?
No, they're not. But I have that passion for all three, and so yeah, I'm gonna try my best to stay away from Marvel. But I'll be honest with you, in the next 12 months, I think that's going to be something I probably dive into quite big.
Wow, cool.
But Pokemon's my main one.
Yeah, okay. Any specific Pokemon that you love to collect? What's your favorite Pokemon card, for example, or Pokemon character?
So I'm big on collecting. There's a particular set from the year 2000. So it's the Team Rocket set that came out in the year 2000, and that's a set that I want to complete. I've never completed the set, but I'd like to open a few more packs and see how close we can get to completing the set through opening packs. Very expensive set to try and complete because these packs go for hundreds of dollars per pack, right? But yeah, I'd like to open a few more packs of that and see if we can complete that set. Easily my favorite set of all time is Team Rocket. And then there's a couple of like modern sets as well. There's Fusion Strike, which I mentioned earlier. That was the booster box we opened the show with at Auckland Card Show. I was really hoping I was going to pull the Gengar card from this. There's a Gengar card in there, which, you know, if you had it graded, it's worth thousands. It's probably it's probably one of the, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best Pokemon cards that they've released. Yeah, it's a bold statement, and not everyone's going to agree with that, but it's one of my favorite cards. And I was really hoping that we are going to pull it at the show, and so I could give it to someone in the crowd. It'd have been such a big moment. But and then there's another set more recent called 151. So it focuses on the original.
Yeah, the 151,
and that is that's such a good set. And yeah, so I'm trying to complete that set at the moment as well.
Awesome. So you're more of a set completionist rather than following specific Pokemon, it seems?
No, so then there are a couple of Pokemon that I do collect just along the way. So Raichu, I'm not, like, this is interesting, right? I'm not even a Raichu fan. So Raichu being the evolved version of Pikachu. It's not even a Pokemon I'm a big fan of, but the reason being, right, the reason why I collect Raichu cards, and it's a completely an emotional thing, right? So back to Team Rocket. I'm what, like 12 years old in the year 2000, and my nan goes over to Canada from Wales. She goes to visit family. I ask her to pick me up some Pokemon cards. She comes back to the UK maybe like a month later, and she hands me these cards. Now, I don't even think these cards had come out in the UK at this point, and if they had, they definitely hadn't hit my like the shelves in my like local like shops. So
Yeah.
she hands me these Team Rocket cards, and I'm like, "What the hell are these? These are these fake? Like, because we've never seen them. I think at this point we had the Fossil and Jungle sets had come out, but I'm looking at these like black packs of Pokemon cards, and I'm like, what are these? These we don't have these. And anyway, so I open them up and I go through the packs. I think I had only a couple of packs from her, and one of the packs I open and I get through to the holo, and it's a Dark Charizard, which blew my mind. Right, it just like it was an incredible moment because Charizard was always the card that you wanted from base set. Like he was the biggest card. Like I'd never seen a base set Charizard at that point in person. One kid brought one into school once, and people went wild for it. They tried to steal it from him. Like he had to like. I think I'm pretty sure if I remember it right, I'm sure he went home lunchtime to take the card home because people were trying to.
Wow.
Everyone was on a mission to try and steal this card. So I'd never seen a base set Charizard, and then suddenly I've got a Charizard card, which again, if I'm right, so Dark Charizard would have been the first Charizard after base set to be released, right? And so suddenly I'm holding a Charizard card. It's not the Charizard card, but it's a Dark Charizard. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And then I open the next pack, and straight after it, I pull this card. It's Dark Raichu, which again, so if I had to give you like top 5 of my favorite cards, Dark Raichu is my favorite card. And for this reason, so my nan got me these packs. I open them up, I get through, I got a Dark Raichu. And when I look down in the corner, it's like 83 out of 82 in the set. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, is this a typo, or is this a fake card? And then when you do a little bit of Googling afterwards, maybe it wasn't even Googling, maybe it was Ask Jeeves back then.
Oh, wow.
This was the year 2000, guys. So things were different then. We can just Google things as easy as we did today. But I remember then reading online where they were like, oh yeah, so it's a secret rare card. And this was the first time Pokemon had done a secret rare card where they hadn't told you what that it was going to be in there. And then I got it in my hands. I'm like, what? I got a secret rare card. And it blew my mind. And like still to this day now, like that card is my favorite card that I've got out of everything that I've pulled since. Value wise, rarity, it doesn't matter. Like that Dark Raichu that I've got from my nan as a kid, and the Dark Charizard too, but the Dark Raichu just really sticks out to me. And and so now I collect Raichu cards. I'm trying to complete all the Raichu cards for that
makes
reason.
Sense.
Yeah,
it totally makes sense. That's a great story, man. That's really cool. It's fun to see the connections that we make as collectors, and that one obviously there's that added value because your nan got it for you too.
Yeah.
And she knew that that's what you wanted, so she came back, she gave it to you.
And
you open it up.
There's no value on there. There's absolutely no value on there. No, like you could try and buy that from me for $10,000. I'm not going to sell it. Like it's not worth any amount of money.
Amazing. That's such a cool story, man. And it's great to see that a person who's arranging and organizing a show isn't doing it for their own means. They're a collector as well. So that's really cool, man. I'm really impressed. I think. Is there anything else about the show that I might have missed? Any details that you want to share? I'm trying to think about what we experienced in the day, and I must say there were some really, really nice collections. I remember, in fact, speaking about rare Pokemons, there was a guy, I can't remember what the name of his store was anymore, but he had an entire folder of all the rainbow Pokemon cards.
Oh wow!
And my daughter and I just happily looking through it all, and we got no clue on its value, and we're just checking them all out. And we're like, oh, look at that card, and he's just like, I'm actually selling that. We didn't even ask about the price. We're just happily looking through it. And he's like, I'm actually selling that all as a set, by the way. And I'm like, oh, okay. How much is a set? And I knew it was going to be a big number, but it was much bigger than I expected. He's like, hey, I'm asking 50 grand for that. I was like,
Ooh.
50,000 for all of these cards. But he's got all of the rainbows from the first set of rainbows that they released until when they stopped.
Wow.
So it was pretty, and they look really good in person too. I must admit, they do look good in person. They got a certain shine. Some of the artwork is just so different from the bases too. It's really cool.
Yeah, so that was one of the my biggest regrets is that we didn't have extra staff on that I could have just taken sort of 45 minutes to go around and see everyone's stalls properly. We were definitely doing a sweep and just checking in on people and seeing that all of our vendors were okay. Yeah, but I personally didn't get enough time to go and look through what people were selling and stuff because yeah, it was just such a whirlwind of a day. It was such a big day for us. But
of course you're the organizer. It's the first time around, and you must just have had all sorts of questions and queries coming your way.
But
totally
show two, I'm definitely taking a couple of hours on. Because this is the other thing, right? So show 2 is going to be a 2-day event.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, there's like I said, we're raising the bar for show 2. There's a lot of exciting things that will come out in due course. But yeah, I will definitely on both days. I'll be taking time to go around and see what everyone's saying. Because you get this. I didn't buy one card at my own show.
Oh, no.
I bought the only thing I bought a Hulk comic at my own card show, and I bought a Hulk comic. I couldn't leave it there. It was like a CGC 8.0 Hulk comic. Is the first appearance of Rocket Raccoon. I'm a Hulk fan.
Cool.
I can't leave it there. So yeah, I swept a Hulk comic, but I didn't get any cards at my own show. Not even that Charlie Sheen card that I really wanted.
That Charlie Sheen, it's gonna haunt you. You're gonna have to find out the person who got gifted it. Like,
I met him at the show. We were near the exit at one point, and I said about I was speaking to the guys from PCG, and I said, there was a Charlie Sheen card that I really, really wanted, and the guy was like, yeah, I got that card. He was like, I do you a good price. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, mate, and I applaud you on undertaking it because it was clearly a big undertaking. I don't know if you saw before the show. I'm sure you did because I think I even saw a drone flying outside.
Yeah. So yeah,
my daughter and I were early. We were early we were probably maybe person 24, 25 in the queue, and we arrived at about 9:20, and it was like, oh, there are people here. There was food outside. We're like, we're okay. We're doing all right. We'll just stay in the queue. We'll see how it all goes. And then the queue just started getting longer and longer and longer, and it went way up into the car park. Like it was a good 150 meters at least.
Yeah, we had a really good turnout for the show. Really, really good turnout. Mm-hmm. And yeah, with the videographer of the day, he's got some incredible drone footage there. So we'll be sharing that on our socials soon. But not just outside, cool. He had the drone going on inside as well. I don't know if you caught.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. With how many people do you think went through the doors? Were you able to count? I guess from Eventbrite, they give you numbers.
Yeah, so through Eventbrite, and then we were able to work out exactly how many people came through the door on the day. So we did just over 1,700 people all day.
Great! Wow. Yeah. And how many vendors were at the show in general? How many total vendors?
How many vendors do we have? We had about 34 vendors. So it worked out at about 100 and was it about 130 tables or 125 tables cool. For just vendors selling, and as well as our tournament tables, play to learn, and our trade tables. Yeah,
I really did like the fact that there were lots of places for people to play, because obviously in the TCG community, that's what you want. You're at a card show. This is where all your friends are going to be anyway, so why not have a place to play? And I obviously, as I said before, I really appreciate the fact that we could learn from people how to play. Like
Yeah.
my daughter and I, we sat down. We didn't really know what to do, but the two boys who came from card merchant, I assume,
Yeah.
they were really really nice, and they're really patient with her and patient with me, and we had a good time. It was fun.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad.
Yeah, cool. Unless there's anything else, I think we can leave the interview there.
Yeah. No, so yeah,
Is
just
there
that
anything else you want to say?
no, just that we will be releasing shortly about show two. Like I said, it's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be in early 2025. Yeah, and I'm really excited to let you guys know what's coming. Maybe we'll do another interview closer to the time as well, and
Perfect.
we can tell
Yep.
you a lot more about what's going on. Then we should have all the exciting
Yeah,
details for you guys.
totally.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'll be into it.
sweet.
All right, buddy. Perfect.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. See ya.
Bye.